When you're in your Wing 3 of LFR, the last thing you expect is a boss that's easier to defeat than plenty of the earlier ones, but here we are. Sludgefist is a cool looking guy who you're fighting right after Shriekwing in that same room, but the pillars you've so carefully hidden behind now serve a different purpose. My name is Ivona, and if you're here for the first time, this is the How Not to Wipe LFR series for Castle Nathria. If you haven't subbed to the channel, now is a good time to do that, because I do a bunch of simple WoW guides like this, and we all love getting those easy wins, so you should definitely be on it too. It's important to know that this guide is primarily for LFR and normal difficulty, so if you're looking for more challenge, you want to look into other resources as well. Sludgefist is a single stage fight, and the key thing to know is that this is a DPS check, meaning you have to kill the boss before all the 4 pillars are destroyed, so don't be a slacker. The first ability to worry about is the chain link, if you're one of the affected, of course. You're likely to get paired up with another player during it, and you'll know it because you'll both have chains around you and a red arrow above your heads. It is very important to stay less than 12 yards apart, which is pretty intimate considering you're just gonna die if you don't. This lasts for almost a whole minute, so if you're not both melee or ranged, the ranged player should enter the melee group and roleplay a little bit. The second ability is Giant Fists, which makes each of his melee attacks deal damage to the player closest to his primary target if he's in his 5-yard radius, so it's essentially a cleave. If there's no one to transfer the damage to, the tanks are the ones to get hit, which is generally okay, so if you're a melee, stay as far away from your beloved tanks as possible so that they don't get hit with the cleave as well. The next one is Hateful Gaze, where the boss marks a tank with it upon reaching 100 energy. He'll charge at him, not super quickly, but you know, still charge, and will kill off any of the unfortunate players in his path. If the boss hits a wall during this stage, everyone else pretty much dies, but if he hits a pillar, it gets destroyed, the boss gets stunned, and for a few seconds he is vulnerable to extra damage. It's important for the tank to make the boss hit the pillar, while the DPS should remain as far from them as possible. And by the way, keep your cooldowns for when the boss gets stunned. Here's the problem: if you're out of pillars, the wall is the only other option, so make sure to kill the boss before the 5th gaze or it's a wipe. The pillars can be destroyed out of the gaze stage, and it is once again up to the tanks to make sure that doesn't happen. The boss also casts Destructive Stomp to his 20 yards radius and knocks everyone back while doing so, but the pillars crumble into pieces, which is unfortunate. The boss should be kept as far away from the pillars as possible when he stomps, otherwise you're doomed, and you'll know this is happening because he has a 4-second cast, so pay attention and kite the boss. Another nuisance is the falling rubble, which are basically swirlies on the floor to avoid, as the debris will fall on you and stun you for a bit. There will be brown puddles on the floor upon the fall, so you need to avoid those too. Ideally, you want to make the swirlies spawn in the corners and on the sides of the room, so if you're ranged, you can do that simply by hanging out there during the combat, which is kind of where you need to be anyway. There's the Colossal Roar as well, and it's a knockback damage to the raid, and you can't avoid it, so the healer should be ready to top up anyone in trouble. This is a fun little mechanic to pair up with Chain Link, as the paired players should work towards not getting separated during it. Finally, there's Gruesome Rage, which simply means that the boss's attack speed and damage get increased by 20% after he reaches 30% HP. So, you know, healers and tanks, keep your cooldowns, and the DPS, do what you need to do to end the fight. And that's pretty much all there is to this boss. It's a fun little encounter, and if you found this guide helpful in avoiding your wipe, leave a like so more people can find it. Now is also a good time to sub, since more guides like this are coming up as well. If you have some tips of your own, leave them in the comments and help more people not wipe their raids. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Good luck in Castle Nathria, and bye bye.